Another torquing that we're going to be doing in this series is what's called the iron sword. Now, the iron sword in the bubishi is a hand position that looks like this. The fingers are up, they're flayed. Now, when they're flayed, that also the index finger looks like it's up a little bit higher, and the hand has a distinct angle to it. The iron sword is not like a judo chop where they form a nice tight hand and then they chop with that linear type of an action. Because again, what you're going to be doing, you're striking this surface right in through here. First of all, it's padded. So if you're hitting soft tissue with soft tissue, there's no really deep penetration to it. All right. This is also one of the smallest bones in your hand, and it breaks easily. A lot of fights that happen over the weekends, drunk individuals, of course, at bars, or just angry individuals wherever they are. They get into a fight, they punch, they hit with this set of knuckles, and they break their hand all the time. It happens every Friday, Saturday night in every city in the world. The hospitals are filled with broken hands, okay? And that's because they don't understand the weapons of their hand. They just hit out of anger, okay, or hit out of drunkenness, whatever it is, and they always miss target. When we train with the G hands and the torque, we're targeting very specifically. We're training our body for and mentally conditioning our body to have certain responses to certain situations, all right? And they become more natural as you use them, okay? One, in fact, is this iron sword. Now, the iron sword, again, is not this part of the hand right in through here. It's this knuckle here. It's on this bone here, and it's a very strong, protruding appendage of that one bone, and it's really strong. You're going to use the torque of the wrist dropping, okay? Now, what happens in that instance, again, as I've been mentioning before, if you have the overlying structures of, like, say, muscles or tendons or bones, and you strike straight down, you're going to be on the surface. You're not going to penetrate to that deeper, more vital structure, let's say in the nerve in this case. What we're going to do with this is it separates those tissues easier because of the downward action. The hand pushes forward as it drops, so it can get between and to the underlying structure. It also has a lot of speed and transfer, okay, as it just drops. You have the weight of your arm dropping for that linear strength and that weight coming into it, but then that snap of the wrist is going to shoot that energy into the target a lot easier and a lot more in a lot more penetrating way. And that messaging, that quick sudden burst, is what the nerves need to fire correctly or fire to dysfunction the body. All right, if you move slow, say you grab a nerve and you squeeze it slow, well, that nerve is going to build up a resistance, a pain resistance. And you got to remember, a message on a nerve sends within a split second, not even a full second. So if you have a slow movement of grabbing and squeezing, the body gets used to it. It can combat that. It tightens the muscles instinctively and fights that. You have to get past that reflexive action. You have to move faster than that reflex. You have to attack quickly. Okay, so you're going to strike with that linear power, or that rotational power that shoots that messaging in a split second. That causes greater dysfunction because the body can't react, because it's sending the message to the brain, and it has to send it back to the muscles to flex or tighten or move to resist that attack. Whereas if you send a quick shock in there with that rotational power, that torque, you're not going to have the speed to receive the message and then get another message out to resist that. If you're squeezing, it takes more seconds to get that escalated pain and dysfunction level that you need. You're also compressing the other outlying structures that I mentioned in the prior tape that'll be linked at the end of this one. And what that does is it further protects the system. But you need to override the reflexive system of the body, that tightening, that flinch factor type of a thing. So your torque will send that message in quicker and cause greater dysfunction. Again, and that's the iron sword. You're going to hit in, separating the two tissues, hitting to the nerve, and that will cause a greater dysfunction. And remember, it's not a pressure point. You're not hitting on the surface. You're not hitting a fake object. You're hitting a real dissectable, that means with taking it out and examining it, okay, structure like a nerve. You're striking that, not the surface, okay? You have to penetrate between the surrounding structures of muscle, bone, ligament, tendon, whatever's in the way, all right? And that's what's going to cause that issue.